talk about dual sight in just a second, but let's introduce our players. Starting in the bottom left, we have from Sweden, Morrow from Team Mouse Sports CC. Morrow, Stefan Anderson has been playing very well in NASL at 5-2, just fell a couple series short of claiming first in his division, but of course, Puzzle and MC were wrecking. There's no shame in losing division to those two Protoss players. He's up against BeastyQT from Team Empire, as Alexander Kristik has been tearing it up in Southern California, training hard in the Razor Academy, now looking to make splashes in NASL. In fact, he's already made splashes. He's on his way to making waves.
Or maybe even tsunamis.
Maybe, man. Maybe. Although tsunamis are only in the Pacific, like by Asia, right? I think.
No, they can happen.
Is there tsunamis that can hit California? No. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. That puts me at such. We only have to worry about earthquakes and forest fires and pollution, man. Like, I couldn't handle tsunamis. Like that alone, man. We have the triple threat. Don't need anything else. Andre, let's talk a little bit about dual sight. What are the advantages and disadvantages of Morrow picking out? I think for his style, I liked his map choice, but can you explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, Baneling, Zergling, Mutas is what Morrow normally goes. It's really good for counterattacking styles, so maps like dual sight, Daybreak, etc. are pretty good. And you hit pretty strong. You kind of dodge your opponent and then just hit like the main, the natural, like a tsunami.
I see what you did there. All right.
What'd I do?
But you're talking about like tsunamis, man.
Yeah,
you know I don't like tsunamis. Actually, one of my biggest fears in life when I was young is I would drown.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm not afraid of getting like killed by zombies or getting attacked by birds or having a guy walk through my shower curtain and stab me to death at a vacant motel.
Dude, I actually
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about drowning.
Oh, really?
Because water's everywhere.
Yeah.
You can drown by drinking too much water. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. You can. It's not actually drowning.
I heard about that because there's a water drinking contest with Aquafina.
It's not drowning. It's you dilute your electrolytes and you basically make your body inefficient, and then you die that way.
When morticians write those obituaries, they always put in quotations drowning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think they would say diluted electrolytes. That would seem rather...
That sounds like a really nerdy way to insult someone in chemistry class. It's like the jock that doesn't understand the problem. It's like, ha, you're such a diluted electrolyte. Inferior human being. Or not. Totally cool, Andre. Anyways, let's focus back on this game. These guys are not nerds. They're not diluted electrolytes. They are fantastic pro players, and actually some of the coolest people you'll ever meet. BeastyQT is actually really athletic. Did you know that? He's really good at football. And by football, I mean soccer.
Oh, yeah.
And by soccer, I mean football internationally.
I would love to play him. In football.
In football, yeah. I was thinking, man, in StarCraft, you're going to get owned.
You think?
I do think. I know. For a fact. Beastie is really good.
I'm pretty good, though, Friday.
Yeah, you're pretty good as well. But
I
Beastie is like not bad.
I took out golden. He's Zerg.
That's true. But Beastie's also a Terran.
But I'm just saying, I beat a Zerg. No. Recently.
It's like one of those things where if you feel like you beat a Zerg, you can beat anyone.
I can beat anybody.
Yes. It's like for some people, it's like passing the bar, passing their boards for medical school. Some people, it's like they give birth, and they finally like create a family. For StarCraft players, it's beating a Zerg.
Yeah, I know, beating a Zerg. It's like, oh my god, I just beat a Diamond 1 level Zerg. I'm ready for Code S non-Zerg matchups. Go. That's how it feels like. I'm telling you, man.
I know what you mean. But Beastie knows what this feels like. To see a lot of queens popping out immediately and spreading creep. It's just becoming more and more popular. Especially not just 4 queens, 6 queens, maybe even 8 queens if you're Dongre, Gu, and Ret. Ret had... I think the highest he got last night was 25 tumors going at once, just an absurd amount. And creep spread on dual sight means so much, especially with the counterattack possibilities. And so it's going to be very important for Morrow to get that up as he is joining up very comfortably back at home.
Do you know what's a good way to actually nerf the current Zerg metagame? I just thought about it.
Hit me.
Nerf the timing of the creep tumors. Have it 20 or 25 seconds rather than 15. I think that would actually help out so much. because now it's like a little bit easier to deny. Queens still have the ability to actually deal with everything pretty efficiently.
Well.
And then creep spread is actually denied by, what is that? Well, it's a 5.
Great catch there from Morrow. But I do know what you're saying, Andre. You can reduce how efficient they are for the energy cost.
So
it just seems
like
absurdly efficient at that point. I do know what you mean.
It is double factory Hellions, by the way.
Huh.
So this is looking to do, obviously, a ton of damage, punishing your opponent when they're not actually getting roaches or additional spine crawlers.
Yeah, he scouted his main base and saw nothing, really, of that kind of tech.
Oh, look at this. He's just going to go double factory pressure directly after here. I really like this build, actually. DeMuslim used to do it for a while, actually, and this was like the go-to build, but Zerg started to learn how to hard counter it pretty nicely. And it is mostly SimCity, but there it is. Zergling is going to spot this, and how does Morrow react to this? Drones getting pulled instantly, very nicely played, saying,
wow,
I can't defend this natural.
Smart. And he's going to immediately pull back. He's going to lose maybe 5 drones, but that's nothing compared to how much BeastyQT actually invested into this army, because ultimately he wants to transition back into Marine Tank. And you can see Morrow, as long as he can deal with the Hellions and make sure they minimize damage, he'd be good.
Brilliant.
Wow.
My
very
God.
Good job.
So he gives up maybe, 30 seconds to a minute of mining time, and he's saying, I'm taking 0 drone losses. Income tab shows 45 to 39, and these Hellions aren't useless. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, okay, now he has these useless units that don't have any relevance. No, they do, but the problem is the opportunity cost. Those Hellions could have been upgrades, stim, combat shields.
Another expansion.
Another expansion. It could have been siege tanks. Everything like that. Right now, BeastyQT is essentially working off of mech with some marine support. I think if our opponent over here switches to anything like Muta or even Roaches, he's in a fantastic position to take the game very easily.
You can see immediately that Beastie is, microing his Hellions that are really weak away so that he can deny creep. Really wants to prevent Zerg from gaining any more ground. The Zerglings are in hot pursuit, trying to get us around on the Hellions. If you can kill all these Hellions, that'd be huge. Catch just 4 of them, and maybe even a 5th. And that is very, very important, because you keeping those Hellions alive to kite Banelings and whatnot, especially in the mid game against Morrow, would be huge.
Yeah, both these players are going to stay on 2 base, for quite a long time. I think that is the correct decision, especially knowing your opponent. If I'm in Morrow's position, you're saying to yourself, well, he just did a very aggressive 2 base. Am I really expecting a 3rd orbital command center? No, let me shut this pressure down, make sure to get all the essential upgrades and units, whether it be mutas and centrifugal hooks. And then from there, I can take my 3rd base, which he's doing right now. You can see centrifugal hooks is upgraded right now. Spire Tech is just done. He's in a fantastic position to just easily play macro game and win.
Well, we'll see if that's actually how things unfold. Until then, we see lots of upgrades against Art from Morrow, very similar to game number 1. The big difference, though, is that Beastie is not constantly knocking on the 3rd of his opponent just yet. You can see Beastie's moving with Hellions, trying to see if he can poke at that 3rd, but there's really nothing he can do against that. And Morrow's spreading his creep a lot better this game just because of that queen retention. And it's really starting to show dividends, as pretty much almost half the map is covered in creep. And pretty soon, in a minute or 2, it's going to be everywhere.
Precisely. And the Hellions are trying to still deny it. Good job taking out 4 creep tumors really fast. Zerglings trying to spring to action. They do have 1-1, so it takes 3 shots to kill those Zerglings, but trust me, these Hellions do have the capacity to still kill a ton. Now, mutas are out in the field. They will help out quite a bit with those Hellions, track them down a lot easier, and force them to just back off from those creep tumors in order for Morrow to actually start pushing forward. I am actually going to say that I think BeastyQT might not be able to do anything with this push, because the creep is so far forward that siege tank positioning will have 2 major levels. First, to actually take out the creep tumors, then to actually take out something of use. That's a lot of time, and that's a lot of gas that can be saved up to be spent on the army of the Zerg for Banelings, mutas, anything that counters the army of Terran.
Yeah, I mean, Morrow is really starting to blow it up in supply, but Beastie's been keeping pretty good macro as well. Now, Beastie does have combat shields on the way, going for that timing where he can really have durability with his Marines. And you can sense that at this point, Morrow knows what he needs to do. He's got 26 banings on the way. Beasty has finished. He would like to wait for +2/+2, but Beasty's not going to wait any second longer, really forcing his way in. Not even siege pushing his way, just really moving everything in a tight, compact formation. Really setting up a good concave as well, so Beasty can come in from the north and from the east. And will Morrow have enough units to handle this? +2/+2 is about to finish, but he's going to go anyways. The bangs are rolling in, but Beasty's splitting his units, but a flank from the north as well. Morrow has an incredible amount of units, and he managed to deal with the rest of the siege tanks. And Beasty's push, just like Andre said, will drop in flames.
I mean, he didn't wait. He didn't try to let the creep proceed. Got punished for it. If you're going to attack on creep, prepare to get smashed like that. Banelings can close in so much faster. Zerglings can close in so much faster.
It's
the
such a paradox, too, though.
Yeah.
Because then Morrow waits for his upgrades to finish, and all of a sudden the push is that much harder as well.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I mean, like, there's no good way. There's no good possibility from this with the creep being so far into the map.
And that's just the importance of Morrow spreading his creep this game compared to last game. It's not what BC did wrong, it's what Morrow did right, at least in my opinion.
Oh, don't forget about those Banshees killing the
oh yeah, the
third
Banshees
base.
killing third base was pretty huge as well. Even Chance is excited about the prospect of that. You can see that Morrow is making a lot more Zerglings than Bangs at this point, but he's pretty much got everything going for him in terms of advantage for this 2-base push.
And, you know, Morrow's doing exactly the right thing. No need to actually take a 4th base. Just keep up with this.
Yeah, because
do 2-2 against 1-0. Yeah, do 2-2 against 1-0. You have tabs on everything your opponent is doing, and just trade. Trade. You're good.
Yeah, if you've ever played Catan, trading is the way to go. And you can see Morrow's just going to go for a counterattack, really try to pull Beasty back into his base. And there's a hole in his defense. And now Beasty has to worry about Zerglings completely surrounding this bunker. And that is really tough. Beasty's just going to press in here, trying to go for a base trade. And at least that's his best option.
Yep,
He really
third
can't do
base
anything
is under a lot of fire here. All the drones are pulled immediately. Banelings are being started over here. And let me tell you, Banelings on creep, not bad. Not bad at all. Taking out the natural. Oh, you're going to have the nastiest around in a little bit. He should come behind and just go from 360 degrees, man.
Wow, there's an opportunity for those Bane Zerglings to really catch those tanks out of position, but now BC has a pretty fortified spot, and right now Morrow doesn't care, though. He's got a huge army advantage. Look how fast those units get to surround, and the Banes just destroy anything, hitting anything they can contact with. GG Cunts called out, and Morrow takes game number 2, ties up the series, and sends it to game number 3.
Was that not brilliant? Was that not brilliant? Was that not brilliant?
Am I not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
I'm waiting for
Morrow played phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
Exactly how you abuse the current TVZ style. We saw Reactor Flame Hellion and then double Reactor Flame Hellion. That's how you beat the double factories very, very efficiently, especially with the Queen buff. That helps out so much. If the Queens didn't have that, that build is golden right there. With only one Spine Crawler, you're going to kill every single Queen that exists on the map. So, I mean, he played that to a T. Textbook style. Morrow is fantastic.
And I love his adaptation to Beasty's variation of ultimately the same build. Because, you know, Beasty wanted to go 2 factory push with those Marine support. But, again, switching it up. So, Beasty's showing a lot of variation in his play. But Morrow shows really great adaptation to Beasty style. We'll find out what happens in game number 3 after we thank Azo. The people provide monitors for NASL Season 3. We love Azo a lot. You can check them out. That's how you spell it, too. E-I-Z-O.
Not to be confused with Azo.
E-I-Z-O.
Or Izo. Not to be confused with Izo.
Not to be
Completely
confused.
different.
And Azo was his name. We'll be back after this commercial break in 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.